Julia Spencer is a real estate investor with over 25 years' experience who owns multiple investment properties. She's a single mother of two who moved to the U.S. in 1993 with only $20 in her pocket. She currently holds an MBA. Julia Spencer is neither a realtor nor an attorney, and the contents of this recording are only her opinions. Get her free guide to investing at juliamspencer.com. I'm your host, Dr. Steve G. Jones, multimillionaire and hypnotherapist. My website is stevegjones.com. Module 3, How to Choose Investment Real Estate. Julia, I have a question that I think is on a lot of people's minds, and that is how to choose investment real estate. Because, when I think about it, if I want to choose a house, then I want it to be in a good, safe neighborhood, which by the way, gets us into a whole potential discussion about real estate agents, because they're not allowed legally to say what's a good neighborhood anymore because it's considered to be, I guess, prejudice. There are a lot of laws against that with a real estate agent. So when you ask a real estate agent, you say, is this a good neighborhood? Is it safe? They beat around the bush. They're not allowed to talk about that, which is actually kind of annoying because you want to buy a place you want to buy a house in an area that's good and safe and so forth. So you end up having to do a lot of that research on your own. But that's what I look for if I look for a primary residence. I want it to be relatively new or recently remodeled. I want it to look good. I think about my friends coming over. I want it to have that curb appeal. They pull up to the house and they say, "Oh, wow, what a nice place." I want it to be, I'm not a big party guy, but if I do have friends over and I entertain, I want it to have space for that. I want it to be quiet. I don't want there to be any barking dogs around because that's really annoying. I listen for wind chimes. I don't like the neighbors to have wind chimes. So I'm really, really picky when it comes to buying a primary residence. And when I get into this real estate investing, I might take that same set of parameters and apply it to that. But somehow I suspect that those parameters aren't really going to do me any good when it comes to real estate investing. So tell us how to choose investment real estate.
Yes, love to. Investment real estate is a whole nother ballgame versus buying for your personal use. In fact, I actually advocate to the fact that if you want to buy real estate investment property, you don't necessarily need to be looking inside. You can get all the information that you need from information that's available on websites or from the real estate agents. There's a lot of different things to consider in addition to what you just mentioned if you're going to buy real estate investment properties. One of the biggest things that I always look at is, do the numbers make sense? And that's really the most important thing that you need to look at. Do the numbers make sense? And the numbers are automatically connected to where is the location of this place and the neighborhood. Basically, when I look at investment property, one of the biggest things that I always look at is I do have a primary residence. I have a house where I live. It's always useful to purchase investment real estate relatively close to where you actually have your primary residence. And the reason for that is because it becomes really difficult to keep an eye and to keep control over your investments if you can't physically drive there in a day or in a few hours. And because once you have real estate that's a little bit further away and you can't get to it right away and you can't put your hand on it or your fingers on it if you had to, what that just translates into is that you have to find somebody that can do that work for you. And finding somebody that can do that work for you is an additional expense. Now, you may be looking for an expense, so that might be something you can consider.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.